This episode of RSR is brought to you by Isotope, Native Instruments, SAE Institute, Spectra 1964, and Grace Design. These are tools that I use every day in my studio, from the Spectra 1964, STX 600, 100, and 100D, and Native Instruments Complete 26, to Isotope Ozone and RX, and the central hub for my studio, the Grace Design M701 audio interface. Follow the sponsor links in the show notes. Grab my free mixing course at mixmasterbundle.com, and remember to like this video and subscribe on YouTube because it's a great way to help support this show. Now, get ready to rock.
I'll write every idea. Almost always, I'll get a song idea, and it's like you see a flash. And I know you probably, I see a flash. I see the whole movie right in front of me.
Yeah.
And if I can capture that, and if you don't jump on it, it's going to disappear forever.
Right.
And so Shel Silverstein tells a story about working all day on a poem or a song, and he's stuck. He went to eat lunch and ordered his favorite meal, and just as the lady walked around the corner with his meal, it all hit him. The rest of the song, how to finish it, the whole thing. And he had to choose at that moment, am I going to eat this food or am I going to sit down here and finish this? But so I see a flash. I try to write it as well I can. I overwrite it. But lately I've been going back and doing a lot more crossing T's and dotting I's and trying to make it a little bit better.
Welcome to Recording Studio Rockstars. I'm Lid Shaw, and this is the podcast created to help you become a rock star of the recording studio. Native Instruments now brings you Complete 26 with powerful instruments, synthesizers, and creative tools to help you make music faster and stay inspired. The legendary Absynth 6 is back with evolving textures and experimental sounds, while Contact 8 gives you the tools for chords, phrases, and arrangement right inside your workflow. With Massive X Guitar Rig 7 Pro, session guitarist instruments, and premium tools from Isotope and Brainworks, Complete 26 gives you everything you need to create in any genre. Go to nativeinstruments.com and use the code ROCK10 for 10% off. Howdy, Rockstars. It's your host, Lid Shaw, and welcome back to Recording Studio Rockstars, bringing you into the studio to learn from recording professionals so that you can make your best record ever and be a rock star of the studio yourself. My guest today is Bobby Bare Jr., a Nashville singer, songwriter, and band leader whose career has spanned major label rock records, alt country, and decades of independent releases. The son of Country Music Hall of Famer Bobby Bare Jr. grew up in the Nashville studio world, but carved out his own identity in the late 90s band Bare Jr., releasing Butte in 98 and Brainwasher in 2000 on Immortal Records, both produced by legendary rock producer Peter Collins, who also did Rush, Bon Jovi, Indigo Girls. He went on to release a wide range of albums under the name Young Criminals Starvation League and his own name, touring internationally and developing a style that mixes rock, Americana, and sharp original songwriting. His 2014 album Undefeated remains a standout example of his blend of humor, storytelling, and emotional punch. In addition to his solo work, Bobby also plays guitar with Guided by Voices, one of my favorite bands. Please welcome Bobby Bare Jr. to Recording Studio Rockstars. Bobby, are you ready to rock, dude?
Yes, let's rock.
Glad to have you here, man.
I got to repair one thing.
What? Which part?
Is Peter Collins just did our first record.
Oh, just the first
in Bare
one. Okay.
Jr. The second record was Sean Slade of Slade and Coldery.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, both had Paul David Hager as the recording engineer.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that gave them a similarity sonically, but working with two different producers?
Yeah.
Same engineer?
Yeah.
Different studios or same studios?
No, the first one was done at Ocean Way, and then we went to 16th Avenue, and the second one was all done at Dark Horse. out in Franklin.
Both cool places.
Yeah, I love
Which one? I mean, they're both amazing studios, but do you enjoy being in like a big fancy studio, like a place like Ocean Way, which is quite nice?
It's impossible to go in Ocean Way and not go, this is awesome.
Right.
It's just, and it's cool. It's a cool building, and
it's got an amazing history too.
I don't put much. Whenever anybody's talking about gear, I tune out. I don't put hardly any. I don't put much emphasis or value in gear.
Yeah.
Because I always think, okay, you take some crappy singer-songwriter from Belmont who's not good yet at all and go to Ocean Way with the greatest microphones available on earth. I'll take this handheld recorder and go to Lucinda Williams' house.
Yeah.
And let's see who wins.
Right, no doubt.
If you do a really great recording of a really crappy song on the best microphone on earth, you've put a microscope on a turd. You're not. If you do a really great recording of a really horrible guitar player or drummer, all you've done is make it more painful. All you've done, you're giving us the clearest experience of bad stuff. And I know you put a lot of effort into finding the best songwriters.
Well, I mean, to your point, my real eye-opening experience or ear-opening experience with that was doing the Bonnaroo Hay Bale studio.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like the same pretty awesome setup. I mean, for what you could do in a hay bale, for sure, on such a wide variety of musicians. Not that we really had anybody who was bad, but we just there'd be times where I'm like struggling to get the sound right. Mm-hmm. And then there'd be times where I didn't know if, did I get a chance to record you
never.
there? I think you
I just always would hug you as I passed your hay bale.
Yeah, I'd see you there. But like, Todd Snyder, who sadly we recently lost, he was an example of somebody who came in, also Richard Thompson, both sitting down in front of the same damn mics with an acoustic guitar. And I didn't change anything except for maybe a slight level. And they just would like transform the sound to sounding like, wow, this stuff sounds great,
I will say I have figured out how to make any instrument sound better. I have figured out how to make any guitar sound better. And it works for any guitar.
What's the secret?
The secret is, if you take the shitty guitar and it sounds really bad, if you practice, it makes the instrument sound better. And I've learned this by playing through my gear and somebody, like Buddy Miller grabs it and it's like, that's the best sounding guitar I've ever heard. Give it back to me. It says, it doesn't sound as good anymore. So
yeah, no doubt.
That's something I just realized this week is any guitar or drum. When I do these radio station things where, the band sets up at the radio station and they have live lunch in Louisville. We did once.
Yeah.
And I brought Jerry Pentecost as the drummer. And when we walked in, the engineer was like, man, there's something wrong with those drums. They just sound, they're really messed up. But Jerry sat down and started playing. I was like, God, they sound great. Those drums sound incredible. It's like, well, yeah.
I know, it's
something
funny.
in the bones and the hands, and it's all in the hands.
I mean, the gear, I'll be honest, gear matters, but we only after you figure out the important part, which is song comes even before musicianship,
well,
right?
It's what you're taking a picture of.
But I mean,
you're taking pictures of sound, period. You're taking photographs of sound. And if you're taking a picture of a turd, and it's a really well-defined picture of a turd.
Like the emoji? Turds become quite popular in the last couple of decades.
I didn't know that. But you still have you're taking photos of sound, you know, and And you've got some great cameras, But anyways, what were you saying?
Well, let's see. It reminds me of a thing that they would teach us when I was in recording school. They'd say, if you try and polish a turd, you can keep trying to shine it up, but eventually you just get shit everywhere.
That's a good one.
That makes sense, That's probably talking about the mixing, too, all the stuff you do.
Oh, God, right? Yeah. But great engineers like you or Vance Powell, when you come in to hear what you just did, it sounds so good. They're just so good.
Thanks, man.
At making it like, wow, I'm excited. Like, and you just know it. You're in a safe place. That's most that you like. I know that I know this is the camera that's being used to photograph my sound is the best camera.
Well, that to be honest, that's how I feel about your songs, man.
Oh, thanks.
And getting ready for the interview, I really it's one of the things I love about doing this is like, it gives me an opportunity to like stop, do a deep dive. And when, especially as somebody like, yourself, who I've known for decades. I mean, when
90,
early 90s,
95,
97, something like that. Yeah. Very early.
94, 95.
Maybe introduced to you by Mike Grimes,
or
because you guys were close.
Were you at Alex the Great?
Yeah,
that too.
Yep. Working over at Alex the Great.
Grimey was my roommate starting in probably 93 or 94.
Yeah, but getting the chance to go back and like really learn more about you. I mean, there's so much I kind of sort of knew or heard a little bit about, but now rediscovering. So I'm excited to talk to you more about it. Like growing up in Nashville too.
Yeah. In Englewood, just a couple miles from here.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought
on Broadmoor. We had a house on Broadmoor my parents bought in 1964.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we can give us a little bit of a brief arc of your story of growing up here. I mean, you grew up with a lot of music around you. Why is that?
My mom's, her stage name was Jeannie Sterling. And she's the best singer in the family. I'm going to cough now. She was like Tex Ritter's female sidekick and like did shows with him, but also she was like 12 and could sound just like Doris Day. But
wow.
She was on a show called Town Hall Party, and you can see it on YouTube. And she's just the greatest, but she's the opposite of country. She's Long Beach, California. The Town Hall Party was done in Compton in the 50s. And it was there.
Your mom's straight out of Compton?
My mom's straight. She went to the same high school as Snoop Dogg, I think. But Jordan, I think. But she is a great singer, and but she was the female. It was kind of like the Opry, like Johnny Cash would go there. All the rockabilly guys and stuff would perform on Town Hall Party, and she was part of the house band and would be singing background vocals for whoever back then. And then she met my dad in Reno because he needed a female background singer.
Yeah. And your dad was Bobby Bear.
He started hooking up with the help. Yeah, he started hooking up with his female talent, and they fell in love and moved to Nashville.
I always sort of fell in love with the waitress too.
Yeah,
wherever I'd go.
You never know. Let love happen.
Let love happen, man.
But they bought a really not very big house on Broadmoor, and that's where we lived from 60. I was born in 1966, but up until 1970, and then we moved to Hendersonville.
Okay, and so you were growing up, like the studio, the stage, the TV set, that was all just familiar territory to you growing up? That was like, you're just running around
We were
playing.
at RCS Studio B a lot, watching Dad do shows, and
So were shows happening from Studio B, RCA?
No. I would go on tour with Dad.
Okay.
And see people celebrate him and clap, and it looked like a really awesome gig.
I think I read somewhere you
job.
said, somewhere I read something that said, maybe it was like the Spotify description or something like that, that you grew up and you just thought like, I want to, like maybe you went to school and studied, but you were like, I desperately want to have that. I don't want to do a real job. I want that kind of job.
Yeah.
I want to just like,
I get to play.
yeah.
Before I was getting to do this, I was, working at the bike shop, and I was 28, 29, had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
Super into mountain biking.
I was
right?
I was way into mountain biking, but I was, in therapy and sad. And I would say, man, if I just had a publishing deal, a record deal, I think I'd be happy and everything. Like, no, it's deep. It's so much deeper than that. That would not fix anything. But I got a publishing deal and I got a record deal, and I never needed to go back to therapy. It'll fix a lot. When you get to wake up and play for a living every day, I'm going to suggest that.
Yeah.
I'd at least try that for a while instead of...
Dude, I love that, man, because that's exactly how I feel. I've noticed, like, whenever I'm making music with my buddies, and I come out of that intensity of a show, or even just like a handful of days in the studio together, I'm just like I feel so full of life,
But because I think you're similar to me, you're focused on gratitude. If you live most of your time in gratitude, and it's not living some kind of fantasy, it's incredible that we get to do what we do.
Yeah.
You get to wake up and think of creative shit. You get to make shit up every day. And you get to tell other people to make shit up. Yeah. And inspire them, you know, or play something back to them that makes them go, I am good. Yeah, let's keep doing this.
What's the life of a songwriter and a musician, artist like? I mean, how much of your time is spent solo? How much of your time is spent with, collaborating? How much is spent with close friends?
I try to spend as much time with my kids, and I know that, like, it was unbelievably fun when they were little. Yeah. But with them as grown-ups, it's even better. It's just stunning. So I try to hang out with them as much as... Yeah. And they're 15, 19, and 21 now. So,
right on. Right on. This fun time, especially through
and my parents
years.
Are still alive, My dad's 90, my mom's in her 80s.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, and I try to go out there, and they're cool to hang out with. But
do you have like a usual? Do you have something that feels like a routine for you in a day? Like, where do you make sure to get your
every
creative
day
stuff in?
I have a way I wake up and I get the day going and make a list of things that I can actually affect that day.
Can you kind of dive in a little?
I started meditating 3 summers ago. And I tried to not talk about it at all for the first 2 years because it took all this power of it away, I thought, or a lot of it. But it's like bragging about working out or something.
Right.
And it's just more powerful when you don't sit in front of people who know you well and go, well, man, I've been like meditating and stuff, man. I'm in a different place, dude. And it went by just not talking about
Welcome to Lidge's Power Podcast.
So I wake up.
Give yourself a little bit of time.
And try to not look at my phone. And hopefully it's sunny and warm enough to where I can get coffee and go to the yard and sit and do the meditation.
Do you think it's important for us how long we give ourselves to meditate? Or is it like personal?
I started with 10 minutes, and I knew I was doing it right when it started going by like 2 minutes. Then I tried 15, then I tried 20. Yeah. And now 20 feels like 7 or something. Yeah. And it's exactly what I used to experience when I was on the road and I was driving or I was falling asleep, and I would pull over at a rest area and do a power nap. Mm-hmm. And I'd go from like, I'm falling asleep to like, okay, that was
ready to go again.
That was maybe 5 minutes of sleeping. And I am a completely different, and I knew I was starting to do it right when also I was looking forward to it. Because any anxiety I have is going to be gone when so.
The new iZotope RX12 is here, bringing powerful new AI tools to help you repair and improve your audio faster than ever. RX12 introduces scene rebalance for separating dialogue, music, and sound effects, plus stems view for visually editing stems inside your session. You can clean up noisy recordings, remove bleed, rebalance mixes, and automatically trim silence from long audio files in seconds. Whether you're producing music, editing podcasts, or working in post-production, RX12 helps you fix the unfixable fast. Go to iZotope.com and use the code ROCK10 for 10% off. Yeah, when I went through post-divorce, I did sort of like a, find myself deep dive. And that's when I was, for a good 6 months, I was meditating every night. And it was like, what I discovered was that it was really helpful because, my daughter didn't want to go to sleep right away. She was like, "Daddy, don't leave." You got to sit there for however long it is until she goes to sleep. And I was like, I can just meditate while she's falling asleep. It's perfect,
Yeah.
So it was like this great combo for a while.
And you have a Tesla.
Well, now I do.
When you're but when you're on the when I would rent them, it takes 20 minutes to 30 minutes to recharge. Perfect, that's perfect timing.
Yeah.
You can go buy a soda pop and sit for the other 20 minutes.
Yeah, indeed. Although I like to get my ass out of the car too and just like move the hips a little bit.
Totally.
At that point. But I find it helpful. And I do remember, that was also a time where I was exploring the whole concept of like the morning pages and writing. And I remember going in with Robin Eaton one day and we were just like noodling around and all of a sudden I seemed to be able to like, improvise rapping a whole verse or two right off the top of my head. I was like, shit, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Do you find that like these practices?
It's exactly like hitting the standby button on your computer or restarting it. It's just the racket, your loud brain. You're putting your shitty, loud racket brain. It's just creating a racket. You're putting it in the corner. You're sending it to timeout, and it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But when you take control over it, it's like, no, you're silenced, and it really. But anyways, what was your?
Well, so what about you as a kid, man? I mean, do you feel like you were a kid that just like had tons of creative ideas all the time?
Yeah, because kids' brains aren't burdened the way they don't have the shitty voices in their head yet.
Yeah,
that are telling them no and like, man, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? Right. All those voices are gone.
Yeah,
and your pure creativity. Dad, why can't we put the tent on the roof tonight? That'd be cool, but no, we can't put the tent on the roof tonight,
Yeah, I probably could on mine. I got a sort of a flat part of the roof.
You do. You could.
I got another part that if you tried to step on it, you just slide down to into a crumpled pile of broken bones.
Yeah, totally. But
so, and as a songwriter, I mean, you must have written a lot of songs in your life at this point. Have you ever?
Not that many. I mean, when I did that first record, that was from the first 20 songs I'd written. I think I'd already
for Butte?
For Butte, I think I'd only
I didn't know that was really stepping
20.
into your
whole
thing
I mean,
at that point.
I didn't start really songwriting till like 2 years before that, but I was able to send Shel Silverstein my songs.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Shel Silverstein, who is he?
A boy named Sue, and Where the Sidewalk Ends, and
do you know who I am, by the way?
Lidge.
I'm a boy named Sue Nashville, man.
Oh, there you go.
And we just won.
What?
Yeah, that's the whole home studio lawsuit.
Really?
Remember that? Remember in 2020 when we changed the law and I was able to do that? So that was just the legislation. So I kept my lawsuit going. And we went all the way up to the Supreme Court and came back down. And then we went back up to the appellate court, and we finally won. It took 10 years for me to win the lawsuit. So I literally fought the law.
Yeah.
And
the law lost.
And the home studio, Lidge and Home Studios won.
Law lost.
Yeah.
Lidge fought the law and the law lost. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all of us, because it was the whole,
And what were they?
They were saying
what was the title of the state of Tennessee versus, or what was?
Well, let's see. I guess it was just versus me and Pat. Elijah Shaw and Pat Rayner. We were the co-plaintiffs. And
but what was the
reason?
The title of.
I actually don't have the title memorized from the actual.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
what were they?
The suit was we were suing that they had infringed on our rights as homeowners to be able to work from our homes and make a living. You know? So for me, it was being able to have a home studio in Music City, of course, which was like, it's not like I made that up. It's like I came here, went to school, learned how to make records, and then saw that, people have home studios in Music City. I want to do that too. And then Pat, the co-plaintiff, she was a hairdresser, and she just wanted to be able to keep cutting people's hair in retirement. Like, how many times have you ever gotten a haircut in somebody's
were other studios going after you saying they can't do this in their house?
No, it wasn't that. I mean, people often ask that, because I know that happened in Los Angeles. There was a bit of a history with that. It was just that Nashville had this like arcane law in the books that just says you could work from home, but you couldn't have a customer come to your house, like no matter what it was. And so that meant everybody from like, the old lady who wanted to teach piano to the kids in the neighborhood when if the kids came over to the house,
the brothel you used to run,
and the brothel
that worked so well, until they shut it down.
Right there.
I'm joking.
That was always like the trope for the NIMBYs who would come out to the thing was like, we don't want to have a brothel in the backyard. It's just like, you're like, does anybody even
have
use
you been
that
to
word?
A brothel lately? You might like the brothels. Brothels are different these days.
Yeah, I mean, you need more vegetable brothel in your daily routine.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, no, that's broth. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I cut you off with another Lidge dad joke. All our jokes are dad jokes now. Right?
I guess if we tell a joke, it is a dad joke.
But one of those would be Shel Silverstein. Was he a dad as well?
He was my dad's best friend. He was around a lot, and when I was 6 or 7, I sang a song that Shel wrote. Dad did an album of nothing but Shel, a double album, concept album of nothing but Shel Silverstein songs.
Yeah.
Called Lullabies, Legends, and Lies. And one of the big hits was me and Dad singing Daddy, What If? Shel Silverstein song, extremely sentimental of a father and son.
And this is like 1974, right?
Yes.
And so you're how old at this point?
I guess I was 7 or 8. When we started performing live. I think I recorded it when I was 6.
Right. Okay.
But
we're probably about the same age, you and I. Yeah.
Well, I was born in 66.
Oh, okay. You got me by a year, man.
Oh, so 74.
You were whooping my ass on the playground.
Yeah. Except I was afraid of everything. But so we have a big hit, and we're doing I did the last night of the Opry when it was on at the Ryman before it moved to the modern Opry house.
Oh, wow.
So I got to be part of the Opry and all that, and met every country singer there was back in 74.
Yeah, you wrote a great song about being born in the
Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah, born in the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah. And
who was it that cut your umbilical cord?
Roy Acuff. I was born at the Ryman Auditorium during the Martha White portion of the Grand Old Opry. Roy Acuff cut off my umbilical, then tied it off with his yo-yo string.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah, because he used to do yo-yo tricks. But I got to do that and got to know Shel really good, growing up. And when I started writing songs, they weren't very good, and he said, send them to me and I'll give you some feedback. So I'd send him just the lyrics. He just wanted the lyrics. And he'd say things like, I'm not going to tell you how to do this better. I'm just going to tell you what I would do differently.
Nice.
And he would, show me what I was. It was great.
That's amazing.
But mostly he was a cheerleader, and he co-wrote a song with me when the album was just before it was being recorded, called "I Hate Myself and It's All Your Fault."
And this is for Butte?
That's for
very
Butte.
First one. Wow.
Yeah.
Man. And then who do you think? Do you know who Shel's mentor was when he was coming up and learning how to write songs?
I don't think he had anyone.
Really?
He was a creative
Nashville?
kid. No, he's a Chicago Jewish community. I think they had a deli or something in the Logan Square part of Chicago. But he did go to the Chicago School of Arts, but mostly he did drawings and like cartoon things.
Yeah.
For the Stars and Stripes when he lived in Japan. So he did he did the Stars and Stripes newspaper. Then when he moved to Chicago, when he moved back, he had a big book of his drawings, and he brought him to Playboy. And he started working at Playboy at the very earliest days.
Oh, wow. I didn't know all that. So, of course, my introduction to him was the book Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, that's what showed up in Massachusetts where I was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We got that as it was like this big, and it was the test pressing, basically. And we got to go page through page, and he got to see, what do kids think of this?
That's amazing, man.
Yeah. This is
the Giving Tree, of course, that was another one that was super friendly. And then later, I'd listen to Dr. Demento, as a kid growing up, and I think it was like the Great Bake Off or something was one.
Smoke Off.
The Smoke Off, yeah.
Where they're smoking weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was one that was, and of course, so the school I was at, they would try and get the kids comfortable being on stage, reciting things. Mm-hmm. And so you'd pick a poem and get up there, and of course, like, the poems from the like Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out.
Yeah,
like that was a hit.
Oh yeah,
kids love to get up and
it was like
teach that one.
Yeah, it's like extreme hardcore kid poetry.
Really awesome stuff. So then for me, discovering later that he had this whole songwriting history down here.
Yeah, Shel's thing was he saw music as a way to sneak his poems into your ear, a way to lubricate your ear hole to get his poems in.
Yeah.
Because A Boy Named Sue is basically, it's just talking, it's the Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time. It's just that with Shel's lyrics.
Oh, interesting.
And he didn't really know, there's a picture of Johnny Cash singing it at Folsom Prison, and there's somebody holding the lyrics up to. So he's just doing.
So he's reading it on the spot. Kind of thing. Oh, it's amazing.
He's reading it. He's performing it, and I'm sure he practiced.
Yeah.
But there's mess ups in that song.
Well, you didn't have iPads back then.
He forgot his iPad. I guess June left the iPad in the tour bus.
Well, it's a U-pad at that point because it's like, hey, would you please hold this pad up for me?
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So what about for you, man? Do you feel like there's another song, one of yours called Dig Down, where you're talking about like all the good rock stuff's all been used up and taken. As you were getting into the songwriting and stepping into, your true self, I'd say, do you think you came at it from like a love of the sound of music first and then a discovery of the lyric from there
I know
on?
the hardest part is the lyrics.
Yeah.
I have people say, man, if you come up with the words, man, I'll come up with the music. I'm like, no, man. Getting to do the music is my payoff. That's where I get. That's
right.
I'm not going to hand that off to somebody who's. But it kind of tells me what musicians are always thinking when they're looking at us songwriters. Like, I can do that better than that guy, man. He's just. But they would do something most likely that would get in the way of the the words,
Yeah.
because that just the way it works.
Yeah. Have you noticed that when you play an instrument and sing, the instrument just sort of magically plays the part that fits with the words?
Yeah, because I'm staying out of my own way.
Otherwise, how do you do it?
Because I'm trying to stay out of, whereas musicians are sometimes like, when am I going to get to put my part in, And I mean, sometimes you have to tell people, hey, I'm singing, don't play. But I'm not singing, go for it.
Yeah. And you played with a lot of musicians in the studio. Have you noticed that some of the best will
nobody
often
ever,
play the least?
Guided by Voices is really the only time anybody's ever hired me to be.
Right.
I mean, especially in Nashville, I have no desire to be a great guitar player. There's too many people that are much better, and I'll never be that good, and I don't want to be. My dad would not come see I had a cover band. My dad would not come see me play music until I was writing the songs, because he knew that that's the only way I was going to buy a house someday, and it's hard songwriting,
Yeah, it is.
It's not, or writing good songs is hard.
Dreaming of a career in audio or the entertainment business? SAE Institute Nashville, in the heart of Music Row, offers hands-on programs where you'll learn on professional-grade gear with industry pros, learning through real projects, not just lectures. Explore studio production, live sound, audio for film, and a whole lot more. Or take the entertainment business program to learn about contracts, promotion, and more. With diploma, associate, and bachelor's programs, there's a path for you. Book a tour today at nashville.sae.edu or call 615-244-5848. So let's keep talking about that, because I love it. And one of the things that really struck me going through and listening to your discography and like relearning about you, is just how great of a songwriter you've become, how prolific you've been, and how like closely you understand how to just put it all together so that it really makes sense, and it feels you figured out how to make it sound comfortable.
90% of that is Shel Silverstein, which is I would take a song. Is that guitar in tune?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't always promise that the guitar will read great on the mic, but it might. Because you never know by the time this is done being mixed.
I would take a Shel Silverstein poem that I had memorized.
Yeah.
I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I got the measles, I got the mumps, a gash, a rash, the purple bumps. So that's perfect phrasing. It's got flow. It rhymes. So I would do that and record that with, and then I would go back and I would just rewrite the poem. There's same phrasing, same
cool.
rhyme
what
scheme.
A great way to
so I just would do that, and then I plug it back in the song, and I woke up early today and thought of 7 different ways to like myself less than you do for any reason, false or true. So,
straight off Butte. Watch out for that guy. But straight off Butte and those songs, that collection of songs too, struck me that they're thematically, when you're talking about leaving the bike store and feeling kind of, dealing with the therapy and feeling down on yourself and trying to figure out what you want to do next.
Yeah.
Like that seems like it's a bit of a running theme through the record too, isn't it?
A lot of it is girlfriends who just don't want to talk anymore, and it's over.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear any of my shit or any of it. I get that, and they're welcome to leave. And there's no use writing them a letter. because they don't care. But it's possible they're going to listen to my next record. They're probably going to listen to the next record. And they might get a message, even though a lot of stuff I've written, the girls I wrote it about, really, it's ambiguous and vague.
Yeah.
Enough
I feel like
to where they don't
kind
know
of important, right?
Yeah, it's kind of vague and ambiguous enough. But then people that I didn't write it about, like, you wrote that about me, didn't you? Like, no, honey, I promise. We hadn't even met when I wrote that song. Okay. Or when it is the person that I wrote it about says, you wrote that about me, didn't you?
And you're like, no.
No, honey, maybe I didn't know. No, of course not.
Yeah.
I love
It's a tricky thing, I think if you need to get rid of it too, you can hand it back to me.
It feels like
I
a
need
dulcimer.
to put a hook over there for you. Right, so the Dulcimer was in your band.
Yeah, Tracy worked at the bike shop with me. And I started rehearsing with Keith and Dean, which is, Dean's the first guy that ever thought I was a good songwriter, which blew my mind. I was like, okay. And Keith and Dean, they started playing with Will Hogue and Chark and their other band the same week I started playing with Keith and Dean. So Keith and Dean started 2 really great bands in the same week. And we tried a couple of just guitar players. And then I said, hey, I got this Dulcimer player buddy that I ride bikes with, that I work with. Tracy, he's a great guy, great musician. Let's try that through an amplifier. And Tracy was the perfect, fearless person who had no problem. And there's no wrong notes on a Dulcimer. It's like playing a harmonica, So it was like hiring a lead guitarist, and it sounded like Hendrix or something. It's like hiring a lead guitarist who didn't have the wrong notes on their guitar frets on their guitar.
Yeah.
There was no wrong note that he could hit, and it worked.
And then what about different keys? You just put
he capoed
it.
He capoed, and he had studied with David Schnaufer, and he had a chart with all the different tunings and where you capo.
Oh, fascinating.
And that's exactly a great question.
Because that'd be a tricky one, because it's one of the benefits of playing a Dulcimer, but then also like the head scratchers.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, but I didn't know that Dulcimers could have capos, but Tracy had a capo.
Yeah, it's tricky on a banjo too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Where does that put us? So you figured out it's just such a great way to practice writing a song. And I've heard people say that. They say like, take the lyrics of an existing song and write a new song from it.
Yes,
or take the chords from an existing song and write new lyrics as a practice.
Tommy Boyce wrote a book where he's like, take your favorite pop song, change something a little, and he came in Kinko's. Boyce and Hart wrote all the Monkey songs and Last Train to Clarksville. And he came into Kinko's. And
were you working at Kinko's too?
Yeah, I worked at Kinko's before I worked at the bike shop in the 90s. And I got to ask him songwriting questions. And he said, man, take those magazines, the teen girl magazines, like, and any of those articles from those, does he like my room? Does he like me or my best friend?
Right.
Or, just all those Motown hits and stuff sound like they could be, or Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, or any of that. Yeah. It could definitely come out of one of those magazines made for
right. So you could
girls.
Find the title of a song idea that way, and then you just read the article to find like the bits and pieces and the descriptive words and the storyline or whatever. Oh, that's a fascinating idea.
Yeah. And he wrote a lot of big hits in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean,
and he told me a story that I can't tell here that I'll tell you after this.
All right.
It was very, very funny.
About something that happened in the Monkees Playhouse? Or
No,
whatever?
something that happened to Boyce and Hart when they went to San Diego.
Right on. Well, don't tell
in
it
the
if you can't
60s.
tell it.
I
Don't tell
can't
it if you can't tell
I
it. Don't tell it if you can't tell it. But I love hearing the stuff about, ways to practice songwriting, because for me, that's exactly what I need for a lot of the listeners here. It's exactly what we need, especially think about it. Like, the rock stars listen to this show are, a lot of us are comfortable with the technology. We're into the gear. We're like cool with using a computer or whatever. Like maybe like me, the tech comes easy first. And then it's like, and then the hard part, the lyric and the songwriting gets pushed back.
It's different now. Anything between a handheld cassette and going to Ocean Way, to me, is a waste of time. Except when I made an album and we on purpose recorded it on a computer just to use that as a rehearsal tape and then go do one day at a nice studio. But anything between a handheld cassette or my iPhone recording and actually being in this studio is usually a waste of time because I'm not going to really play it for anybody. Home recording is fun and it's great for coming up with ideas, but I don't really want anybody to hear that. So, and I have gear and microphones and stuff, but...
Well, what kind of setup do you, so you have like a space that you would call your home studio?
I have a rehearsal space in my basement. And I have a little 2-channel something. I don't even know what it is. And I have a couple of mics. But it's just for working out ideas. Or the loop pedal is the funnest thing on earth. Yeah. The loop pedal, but that's it
lets you accompany yourself.
Yeah, but it's not recording gear. That's just a tool.
Yeah, so then when you're writing a song, do you typically figure it out with pencil and paper, and you're like playing the guitar and singing it as you write it until you've got the whole thing?
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot more of going back, and what I'll do is I'll let it flow and I'll overwrite the song. I'll write extra verses, and then I'll go back and I'll trim it back. But I'll write every idea. Almost always I'll get a song idea and it's like you see a flash. And I know you probably, I see a flash. I see the whole movie right in front of me.
Yeah.
And if I can capture that and if you don't jump on it, it's going to disappear forever.
Right.
And so Shel Silverstein tells a story about working all day on a poem or a song, and he went to eat lunch and ordered his favorite meal, and just as the lady walked around the corner with his meal, it all hit him. The rest of the song, how to finish it, the whole thing. And he had to choose at that moment, am I going to eat this food or am I going to sit down here and finish this? But so I see a flash, I try to write it as well as I can. I overwrite it. But lately I've been going back and doing a lot more crossing T's and dotting I's and trying to make it a little bit better.
The editing stage or whatever.
Yeah. I used to not do much of that.
Or a little,
no, like a month or two later or after the flash happens. Because once that flash happens, it's over. And every time I listen to like the first 4 minutes of me playing that song and just having fun with ideas, it's all there. And later when I try to make it better, it always sucks when I try to make it better. But when I go back and I listen to me with the first 4 minutes, there's always ideas that I threw away, which are 10 times better than what I tried to do from the conscious part of the thinking part of my brain. Yeah. The stuff that jumped out of me when it was just fun. And I just did a songwriter's retreat, or it was a writer's retreat where there's poets and people are writing memoirs on Orcas Island at a place called Dobe. And it's, there's like 20 women who are writing and have published stuff but weren't songwriters. And I and everything that they were talking about was really heavy stuff. Everything that they were writing and expressing was from a really serious, the opposite of lighthearted, really serious place. And I've never operated from that place. But it reminded me of, I went to the Tibetan Freedom Concert in 98 or something, and I saw the Dalai Lama there with his 8 or 9 monks that follow him around. And they're hanging out on stage. And I look at them, they're telling jokes. They're looks like they're just goofy teenage basketball team or something being silly.
Yeah.
And the Dalai Lama's the center joke teller. He's the happiest, funniest of all. And then there was beautiful girls there backstage at a rock concert, of course. And one of the monks, I saw a girl in a skirt walk by, and he checked out this girl. I'm like, "What's up with this? Wait, Mr. Monk."
Wait a minute, the dallying lamas.
Yeah,
what's going
Dalai
on here?
Lama, buddy, over there. But the lesson I took that was the lightheartedness.
Yeah.
And how the opposite of serious and heavy, someone who's that enlightened is. And when I was teaching the class, I was just talking about songwriting. I pointed out how the most serious, heavy stuff I write always comes from a fun, playful place. And if it doesn't come from a fun, playful place, it's almost always going to suck. But if I find the fun, playful place inside of me, even for the heavy, serious stuff, it's going to be better. And if I can take the heavy stuff and get a room full of people to laugh at how silly my most serious feelings are, it makes them seem lighter for me also. But I don't know. It's just different strokes for different folks. Some people want to be serious and heavy. It's never worked for me.
Right. Trying to be serious is not the best way to get there.
Yeah. And everybody I've ever worked with, and, the lead singer of Guided by Voices has written 132 albums of new material. Unbelievable. And written probably...
You think Robert's the most prolific person you know?
Him, yes. Shel was maybe equally also, because Shel was doing... Bob Pollard does collage art also. And so he's putting that out every day.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Collage art. All the album covers pretty much are Robert Pollard's. So he's waking up at 5 a.m. and picking up his scissors and doing collage art. And then later in the day, he'll meander over to the guitar or listen to records for a while and then start.
I think
he does it every day.
That's a great way to find the creativity and stuff sometimes, is to just not even try and songwrite, right?
But what I've noticed in him and Shel Silverstein, because Shel was doing tons of drawings, and he was doing off-Broadway, he was writing screenplays, and he was writing or creating or drawing or recording all day. And both him and Bob, it's a compulsion. It's something that's lunging out of them that they know how to open up and let pass through them. And it comes really easy and it's fun for them.
That's amazing.
But it's lunging out of them. And sometimes I can do that, but most of the time not.
Native Instruments now brings you Complete 26, loaded with creative tools for songwriting, production, mixing, and sound design. The big news is the return of the legendary Absynth 6, with evolving textures, cinematic soundscapes, and experimental sounds designed to spark new ideas fast. Contact 8 continues to be the center of the complete ecosystem, with built-in tools tools for chords, phrases, grooves, and arrangement to help keep you in the creative flow. With Massive X Guitar Rig 7 Pro, Session Guitarist Instruments, Play Series sounds, and premium tools from Isotope and Brainworks, including Ozone 12 Elements, Complete 26 gives you everything that you need to produce in any genre. Plus, Native Instruments continues expanding NKS integration with complete control keyboards and machine hardware. Go to nativeinstruments.com and use the code ROCK10 for 10% off. Howdy, Rockstars. We're back now for the jam session, aka the second half of the show. My guest today is Bobby Bare Jr. joining us here at Ready to Rock Studios. Bobby, are you ready to rock or jam or one of the two?
I'm ready to rock.
I know you are.
Rocking out with you
Is the best
anybody can do.
It's true.
Can I tell you my most fun a cappella thing I've been doing lately is tuning. I got to come up with stuff when I'm tuning. My ex-wife Megan, who you know, her granddad was most important song publisher in Nashville in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And at some point, he bought the REO Speedwagon catalog and in order to get, and then he did demos of them, country style, to get Music Row people, the current hit makers of the day, to record his REO Speedwagon songs. And I still don't think anybody has done it, but the demos were called, they called them REO Chuckwagon. But how great would these work as country songs? Heard it from a friend who, heard it from a friend who, heard it from another, you've been messing around.
Well, I like that, turning messing around into a hound song. Another,
yeah.
Bring a little Elvis into it.
Or ride in the storm out, waiting for to fall out. Well, I'm gonna keep on loving you.
Hey, so before you started writing your own songs, were you already learning covers?
I was in a cover band.
Wait, were you in the what was it, beach party or house party or something like that?
No.
I
had a band called The Apes.
The Apes.
Because we aped other people's music.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like a hell of a good way for you to study songs, right?
Yeah. And I got, and use, and figure out what my voice is good at. And
you were singing. You were lead for that band, or Sharon verses.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds, snakes, and aeroplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid.
Leonard Bernstein. That's the only line I know from that one.
Lenny Bruce, I'm less afraid. Birdie Patty Cheesecake, Jelly Bean Boom, Symbiotic Patriotic. Yeah, I know all that.
Yeah, I finally had to play that one. We did a wedding out in California, and that was on our. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the world as you know it. Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever want to make Robert Pollard laugh, I just lean over and go, "Could you hug ya?"
Well, it's funny that you drop a little REM in, because I remember hearing the story when they first arrived. Like, they were opening up for somebody, like one of their first big tours, and people were like, heckling them, going like, "Who's this REO Speedwagon?" Or
they won,
getting shouted down.
They spent a lot of time in Nashville.
Oh, did they really?
Well, they recorded their fourth album on Belmont Boulevard at Sound Emporium.
No way, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. They were part of they were really close to Jason and the Scorchers. They did lots of shows. They came up together.
Those guys are great. Those guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. I finally got to see Jason and the Scorchers doing sort of a reunion thing at the Ryman. It was the first time because I didn't know anything about them until I came down here and met all you guys.
In 84.
They were the big
82,
thing here.
When I first started college, they were the biggest thing on earth.
Yeah.
You can Google a thing called, it was on HBO, and it was at a place called The Paradise, And it was on HBO, and it was the new music of 1982 or whatever, and it's a stage, and it's on the stage would be Oingo Boingo, and then it would rotate, and it would be, somebody else from that era. And this one was Jason and the Scorchers, and it rotated, and it was REM.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they were in the same place at one point doing similar stuff.
But when I saw them play too, I was struck by, I realized these guys really rocked out. They just had that cool, like jangly guitar thing that was cool. You know?
The Scorchers?
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It was more Warner Hodges is just the most aggressive
they would be comfortable
guitar player on earth.
Like they would be at home on stage with the Replacements too.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, it was really, I mean, yeah, but it was just so, it was either so punk rock or so country, I love that band. So.
Now, what about Government Cheese? Was that a big band for you too?
No, I saw them a lot. I was a big Walk the West fan. So I would see them do shows together and stuff, but I eventually became a crew guy for Walk the West and Cactus Brothers. So I was more experiencing that than the Cheese, but I grew to be in awe of Tommy, Yeah,
and that was one of the things that I read is when you were touring with your dad to go sing Daddy What If, and when you got too old to step into that role anymore, you started you still wanted to be there and be part of the whole production, so you started working on some of the
T-shirt
stage productions.
No, I was T-shirt sales. I was during the urban cowboy era where every town in America had their version of Gillies. And Dad was going to play, Billy Bob's Indianapolis would have their version of Gillies. And I would get to sell T-shirts and ride the tour bus and see things that most kids should not see and experience. I remember selling T-shirts, and one of the waitresses was like, I want one of them T-shirts. And the bad boy part of my brain at 14 was like, well, I'll trade you my T-shirt that says Bobby Bear for your T-shirt that says whatever bar. And she's all right. So I got to see a girl in her bra.
Amazing.
Oh my God. Amazing. And so she put on my shirt and I put on her shirt. But all I remember is she had really sweaty armpits. I was like,
The magic, the mystery.
But I saw a girl in a bra.
Yeah.
That's the main
thing. I remember being 13 and how exciting that would be.
Oh my God.
13, 14. Wait a minute. At 58, that's still exciting.
At 59. Yeah. But it would be a woman that was like, for us, it'd be a woman that was like 64 or 65 because she was older than me.
Yeah, significantly, right? Yeah. Now, what about, your dad, too, being around your dad playing and writing? You talked about having the benefit of Shel as a mentor. You must have learned a ton from your dad.
I knew how good of a songwriter he was, and I knew how critical he was of songs and what he thought of songwriting, because I worked on the Bobby Bear and Friends TV show, which was recorded at Bullet on Music Row, but it was talking about the craft of songwriting, talking about the being in the studio, but mostly talking about songwriting. And I learned a ton off of that. And there's some of those on YouTube with Waylon and with, Paul Williams was on it, B.B. King, Shel Silverstein.
So you
Johnny
were meeting
Cash.
all these folks.
But yeah, it's the Country Music Hall of Fame has digitized all of those shows, and hopefully someday they'll put them all out there because it's amazing, cool.
Yeah, was it often? It was like a round kind of writer.
Well, it would be three. It would be Dad and probably two other songwriters like Townes Van Zandt and Steve Earle or somebody, amazing. And they would talk about, or Roger Miller, and they would talk about songwriting, and
how cool, and it's on TV.
It was the only cool thing on the Nashville network in 1982, 84, 85, 86.
So cool, man.
Back in the old days.
But did you have a little bit of that, like, typical, teen rebellion too, where it's like, we can go through a phase where sometimes we're like, well, I don't want to learn from my mom or my dad.
No matter how much you want to go against your parents, being a rock star always looks appealing. Getting on stage.
I love it.
Getting that job is always going to be like, oh my God, I get to do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, but I was aware of how repulsed he was by other country singers, kids that kind of made a living of doing their parents' thing.
Right.
And so I never sang any of my dad's songs until like 4 years ago.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, because he's been out doing it himself much better. And I knew how much it repulsed him to see other kids kind of make a living out of that. I'm also blessed that my dad's not Waylon or Willie or somebody. I'm not Johnny Cash Jr., so it's not that alluring of an opportunity. I'm in a different zone.
Right.
And so I had an offer from Nashville from Lost Highway. It was going to be the first thing on Lost Highway when they were figuring that out. So it was between Lost Highway and Mercury or Immortal Records, which was me, Korn, and Incubus out of Santa Monica. And I thought, if I do that, the guy that signed me at Immortal had no idea who my dad was. And, people really love to point fingers and say nepotism. So I did as opposite of what my dad did as possible. But people are still going to say, that's the only reason he got a record deal. That. But I'd rather people just tell me I suck, because nobody ever pointed a finger at Prince, who was the second generation guy. Yeah, how he got his first gigs, right? Nobody ever said that about Billy Corgan, whose dad was also a local musician. He wouldn't have been able to get his first show if his daddy wasn't also a guitar player.
Right.
That.
But I mean, that's a lot of pressure for you too, to have to go so far opposite. I also wanted to do things very differently than my parents. I always did.
But I'm kind of doing exactly what my dad does. Like the songwriting part is as country Shel Silverstein, but it's just the ornamentation around it.
Yeah. Well, at this point,
the Scorchers made a career out of taking country songs and making them horrifyingly powerful rock songs.
Yeah.
And me doing any of the songs on Butte are just straight up, I can play them for you now, and it's like, oh, that's just a country song. It's been distorted and molested. Beck, I listen to a lot of what Beck does, it's like, oh, these are, he's just having he wrote a cool song.
I got 2 tables and a microphone.
Yeah. Totally.
Bottles and cans.
See? You got a career right now.
I could do it, man. Maybe that's what this podcast evolves into, is we just start writing songs on the spot. So 2 of your songs that I wrote down, among others, is Soggy Daisy and The Monk is at the Disco. Mm-hmm. Both of those struck me.
Well, Monk at the Disco I already talked about.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I was wondering if that was the reference.
One of the Tibetan monks checking out the girl's skirt.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what? I want to know these guys. I want to know more about these guys. They look like the happiest people here. And this is a protest to get the attention of China in Washington, D.C. And those guys are hilarious. Those guys are having fun.
So how do you set about, like, you have an idea, you got this idea and you're going to write a song. What are some moves that you might have made to kind of like push yourself through coming up with ideas for lyrics versus, filling it out too much and then cutting back? Like, where would you be stuck? I mean, that's one of my questions is where are you stuck now?
I mean, at first I would rip off a song. I'd get a Screaming Trees song and change it a little bit and come up with new lyrics. Then Grimy would come home. Grimy knows more about music than any person I know.
And that's when you guys were roommates.
And we were roommates. Him and Brad Jones know more about music than any people I know, songs.
Yeah.
So if I could play it for Grimy and he didn't say, oh, that's Old Dollar Bill by Screaming Trees, I knew I'd snuck it past him.
Yeah.
I knew that I could play it live. And lately I've been thinking about and every great songwriter has done that through the beginning. I mean, Hank Williams knew who Jimmy Rogers was. Hank Williams really listened to a lot of Jimmy Rogers, knew what he did, and then he did his own thing with it. And now we have AI, and I haven't used, or I've tried to make it write poems, but it just sounds like somebody's really nerdy college professor trying to write something cool that the kids would like. But then there's stuff that's really good. Like I could say, would you create a whole 1982 version of REM album for me? And what I thought, what I'd like, if I sit and I listen to that, it's totally made up by a computer, but I do my own version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that disgusting or wrong? Because if that's wrong, and I'm doing it, it's similar. How is ripping off a Screaming Trees album or song different than doing exactly that?
Well,
or Hank Williams listening to Jimmy Rogers.
Isn't there a song about that? If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right or something?
I don't want to be right. That's Barbara Mandrell.
There you go.
Who was always weird. Like I knew her because her kids went to my elementary school. So she's like a mom in my world. And then you see her on TV being sexy. That's a stretch.
If you record music, podcasts, video, or dialogue, the brand new iZotope RX12 is one of the most powerful audio repair tools you can add to your studio. RX12 now features AI-powered scene rebalance, letting you separate dialogue, music, and sound effects for incredible control and post-production. The new Stems view makes stem editing faster and more visual than ever, while upgraded music rebalance and dialogue isolate deliver cleaner separations with improved machine learning. RX12 also adds trim silence, helping podcasters and editors instantly remove dead space and speed up long-form editing workflows. Plus, rebuilt de-bleed tools and real-time processing improvements make cleaning up noisy recordings easier than ever. From restoring damaged audio to fixing podcast interviews, guitar tracks, vocal tracks, and film dialogue, RX12 is the industry standard toolkit trusted by producers, podcasters, post-production engineers, and music makers worldwide. Go to iZotope.com and use the code ROCK10 for 10% off. I think that, finding sources for something to get us started, we're just always looking for, you need some, I did a great record with a guy from Sweden, and he used the lines, starting gas was in a lyric, which I think is a European expression for like having enough gas, I guess, to start your car or something like that.
Oh,
but
wow.
I don't know. It's always stuck with me. It's like you need a little starting gas in your Anders Elfstrom.
Wow.
If you're watching Anders, shout out to you, buddy. And I forgot the whole phrase of it, but like, that idea of you got to have something to just kind of fire the engine off and get it going, prime it.
And I was always, my first record is me getting real excited about Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
And using that as
Bulletin, that era?
getting I think it was before that.
Before that, yeah.
But
Tangerine
really
probably, right?
getting, I forget, but getting and me thinking like I want to do that.
Yeah.
And getting nowhere near like actually played it for Peter Collins, the producer. But the sound of me halfway there is actually interesting or unique. You know, the sound of me getting halfway there is unique, I guess. Or it was my version of whatever I did in 1990.
Right. So many of these are great songs. The sound of me getting halfway there. That's a great line.
Well, the sound of me halfway there. The sound of me halfway there.
The sound of me. I like the sound of me getting halfway there. Sounds really nice too.
That's true.
There you go. So there you go. What do you want to say about co-writing? We just
co-writing.
We just agreed and slightly disagreed on one line. So what's it like to co-write?
I've written thousands of songs, but I haven't finished many songs. Song finishing is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Songwriting doesn't mean anything because you're not going to play it for anyone, and it's a waste. It's not a waste of time, but it means nothing as far as songwriting goes. Song finishing is all that matters. If I have a songwriter if I'm co-writing and I hit a wall, there's someone else there with a whole different perspective and set of ideas that can help me when I stumble and carry it to the next bridge. And then I'll get excited about what they're doing. And I'll get a new idea that it's just, it's exactly like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. You know, that's why they would do those things because they're playing off of each other.
Yeah.
And it keeps momentum. And it's hard. And momentum is the only thing that finishes a song.
That's why I like playing music with people, especially in the studio tracking and stuff. But you said another good line. So it's like, help me when I stumble, carry me to the bridge. I mean, that's like this lyrics, man.
I'm writing them down all the time.
I mean, do you? I feel like I walk around and I listen to. The more I think about songwriting, I listen to what people say. And I realize that people are saying songs and lyrics
all of it
every day.
Yes.
Just in simple expressions, simple things that people are saying.
Yes.
It's remarkable.
And it's stumbling out of their heads and then they forget about it and move on.
And we do it too, I think. You know?
Well, I like you have my iPhone and you're using is that called a pencil?
Yeah, I'm using this thing called a pencil. That's why it's really noisy. It goes
wow
in the background. And my handwriting sucks, so I have to learn
what
how to try and write
happens when it gets
looking.
dull and like it's no more lead?
I just throw it away and stop.
Okay.
I stop writing.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like a good idea for that whole design.
I've got this many ideas in life.
That design,
when that disappears, there's no more left.
It's done. But what were we talking about?
We're still talking about it, and we never stop. We never stop. How about Soggy Daisy? That's another good one. Do you remember?
How did I?
Do you remember? The name of it? Dang it! I've got the diggable planets.
Well, there's a place in Tennessee called Soddy Daisy.
Right.
So I always thought it was, driving past it on the interstate, I always thought Soggy Daisy.
Do you know, I was stuck on Diggable Planets, but I was trying to remember David Greenberger who did Duplex Planet, which was a whole comic series about interviews with these people from the old folks home that he worked at.
Oh, God.
Really good stuff. And they were putting out compilation records, one of which we were on. Doing a song by Ernest Noyes Brookings. So I've got to go on a tangent. Yeah. But the Soggy Daisies, like thematically, it's about the old folks.
Yeah. Really and the stories these people have.
You'd love it. Man. I'm going to have to turn you on to it.
Yeah, totally. But that just, I forget what sparked that idea though. Oh, but I write really well on airplanes for some reason. That and Monk at the Disco, I both wrote on airplanes. There's something about being enclosed and something about when I'm writing, I feel like somebody around me is like, what's that guy writing? Which is totally make-believe. Nobody gives a fuck. Right. But just writing. and writing and like that's one of those songs where you would overwrite and then back up and edit.
Well, the fun part about an idea like that too is you get to make up a different character all the time, right?
Yeah.
If the song is about a list of people as opposed to like
I have a song called Rock and Roll Halloween, which is the same thing. It's a list of people that I saw at a Halloween costume contest.
You just missed our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Halloween at the neighborhood party recently.
Where do you have that?
We just said we do a block party halfway down the street.
Oh wow!
In my neighborhood.
Awesome.
Now it's a new thing. So
awesome.
then I've had the pleasure of putting a band together and doing a bunch of covers. I'll tell you though, it's not a lot of fun when you have to sing Thriller. And you're like, how the hell am I going to sing Thriller?
You get a kid or a female to sing it. That's what you do.
Well, I got another guy who helped with it, and we just both like double our falsettos. And, Thriller. But yeah, that's a good idea for next time.
There you go.
All right. Let me see here. So to that point, one of the things that I've discovered as I've gotten in more into songwriting and trying to like really bust through the lyric, the barrier of writing lyrics is lyric writing. What's cool about it, or what I felt like I discovered, which is probably not that much of a discovery, is that it's one of those things that you can do in all these places where you can't actually work on music. Like in an airplane or
an airplane.
Or at a coffee shop where it's loud. People are talking around you at a bar. Mm-hmm. It's really easy to just sit there and just like mess around with poetry ideas and everything. And
totally.
Just sort of imagine.
And like, I can't go to a cabin and write songs. I have to be in a city somewhere and be around the energy of other people because it just keeps it spinning.
Now, would you go somewhere where somebody's might come up and recognize you and start chatting? Or do you try and
nobody
pick
really
places
ever
where...
recognizes me, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, I guess I kind of get recognized sometimes, but no, I'm the guy in Guided by Voices who's over on the side of the stage where nobody ever notices. So, and when I'm Guided by Voices, I just face the middle, watch the show, and get blown away.
Yeah, let's talk more about that because Bob Pollard, that band, those songs, what an incredible, prolific collection of music, and then great, imagery, stuff that makes you, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but
he's the pop master.
Yeah,
he loves pop. We also the 4-piece psychedelic, punk, pop, prog.
And doesn't that just sort of describe the musical aspect of it?
The what?
Don't you feel like that describes the musical aspect of all of the band? Whereas like lyrically,
he's entertaining himself.
It's like,
and it's amazing.
It's like a pastiche of images and things that
he loves. That he loves. Yeah,
it's like a suggested storyline.
Yeah, it's amazing. His ideas are really, really random. And I was a huge fan. It was my favorite band. And then I got to open up for them. And then he fired everybody in the band in 2014 or 15. And then he asked me to be in the band.
Wow.
And so that was 11 years ago. And and I'd never had to learn anybody else's songs except for the Pixies tribute band I'm in.
Right.
I've never had to really learn anybody's stuff. And it was 50 songs, and the first rehearsal had to be just like you were on stage. We weren't learning songs. You had to play just like...
Exactly.
50 songs.
Wow.
And it was horrifying.
No doubt.
And then eventually we were playing 62 songs. For most of the years, we were doing 62 songs a night.
How much time did you give yourself to learn 50 songs?
Or
how much time did you have?
Weeks,
was it a quick turnaround?
Weeks. No, it was... First I went to Dayton and learned what I was going to learn. I just because I don't know these voicings,
Right.
And stuff that was sounded really difficult was just, it's just 2 fingers and it bounces between these 3 places.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's Bob teaching you at that point?
Yes, Bob's teaching me, and sometimes he was teaching the other guitar player who was in the band, showing us things.
And so because I love nerding out on the specifics.
Look, how would you? Guitar, I'll show you.
Well, how would you capture the idea so that you remembered it later? Was it just in your head?
2-finger D and G strings, 5th fret or whatever number fret to this, and then C position slid up to fret 4.
Yeah, okay.
Or fret 6 or whatever. I don't know how to chart things, and with him, if I wrote the technical, I don't think there is a technical way to write the 2 middle frets all the way, the 2 middle strings all the way on the 10th fret,
right.
And then you slide down 4, and then you slide up 2. I don't think I don't know. Even if there was, I wouldn't know how to write it or read it.
Yeah. So just coming up with your own little code. I've tried using video
videotaping.
before.
I have videotapes of videos of my phone of him doing those things, so I could remember later. And then when Doug Gillard joined the band, he was my savior because he had the patience to show me those voicings, because Bob has a certain vocabulary of chord things he does, and Doug knows he knows everything Bob would be pulling from.
In other words, like
he knows
Doug would hear a chord and he knows
exactly.
It's like us hearing somebody play an open D chord and we're like, oh, that's an open D.
No, it's him knowing that Bob would never do that. He would do this.
Right.
And he would do that. But he would never... most people will listen to it and go, well, that's this or that's that. And then they'll be right, but they'll also be wrong because it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
I've seen people online figure out what Bob's doing, and it's really complicated. It's like, no, it's 2 fingers. It's these 2 fingers. Or it's this D position, and then you go to this position. And but it's just Bob entertaining himself and dazzling himself and coming up with, but the hardest thing about songwriting that you can't teach is melody.
Yeah.
You can't teach melody, period. It has to come from a playful, melodious spot, and you can't teach that.
Are you ready to launch your career in the audio or entertainment business? SAE Institute Nashville, right here in the heart of Music Row, offers hands-on programs to prepare you for the industry. From studio production and live sound to audio for film and a whole lot more. You'll learn by doing, working with professional-grade gear alongside experienced industry pros. If you're more into the business side of entertainment, SAE's Entertainment Business Program teaches essential basics like contracts and promotion to help you navigate the industry. With diploma, associate, or bachelor's degrees, there's a path for everyone. Plus, Career Services supports graduates as they take the next step. Want to see it for yourself? Immerse yourself in Nashville's exciting music scene and book a tour today at nashville.sae.edu or call 615-244-5848. That's like what you were talking about earlier when you say you go back and listen to the first 4 lines of something you did and it was the best ideas.
Yeah, because it's coming from the most playful spot in you. And it's also that place that saw the flash. It's the spot of most enthusiasm also.
Yeah. It's also, you also don't know it yet.
Right. And you might look back and think, that sucks. What was I so excited about also?
Well, that's why you double it. Because then it becomes all of a sudden, because then it's like, wow, that was brilliant, man. I love the double, man. I feel like the double is like a secret weapon to just like, it's like in cartoons, you pencil sketch it, and then you ink it in.
Right.
Once it's inked in, you're fucked. You can't change. That was the greatest idea ever.
Of course. Right? It's done.
Right. What are some Guided by Voices lyrics that really stand out to you that you love? Anything?
I'm not going to say anything because if I say the wrong thing,
it'll be wrong.
No, if I disagree with the super fans, if I disagree with them or pull from some album that they don't like, then I'll be thrown on the fire and burned.
I do remember a song that just like when I was sort of, I would say I was a latecomer. I think I was a little bit of a latecomer.
I was too. I didn't get in until like 99 or 2000. As soon as I saw them in Austin, I couldn't believe how good they were. And I came home and pointed a finger at both Grimy and Brad Jones, like, you know what I love. How could you guys not let me know this existed? Because I was so freaked out by how powerful. I mean, what I saw, and this is a common thing. Carl Bramel from My Morning Jacket lived in Bloomington, Indiana, and they got B1000, and they got really excited about this lo-fi indie band.
Yeah.
So they went to, there's a club in Cincinnati that's Sudsy Malone's, I think. It's a place where you can wash your clothes, and it's a live music venue. So they went to see Guided by Voices in Cincinnati, and they see these guys walking in with 412 cabinets, like they're playing in an arena. And, you know, they're thinking it's going to be this cute little indie thing, and they get the Who. And Carl said, "Oh my God, what is," you know, it's just completely blew his, you know, and I knew the music, and I went and I saw them open up for Nashville Pussy, or Nashville Pussy opened up for them at this magazine party in Austin.
Great. Nashville Pussy was a great show. Yeah. I remember seeing
unbelievable. And I'm watching them, and it's, you know, 6'7" blonde with boobs blowing fire.
Yeah.
And the music is just unbelievable, powerful.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is Guided by Voices how is anyone gonna follow this? And they came out and destroyed the universe. And then like that, it goes to gentle pop, you know, beautiful, something that Nashville Pussy could never do and would never want to do.
Right.
But extremely sensitive pop. And then back to like, Jesus God, you know, and I'd never, you know, I'd been in some really amazing bands, but that's one of the bands, and that I got to be in it. It just still freaks me out.
Now, how do you feel like you're internalizing learning that stuff, that ability to go from the big
I
song
never knew
to
there was such a thing as muscle
stuff.
memory, and when I have to learn 12 songs or something I sit on the couch and it's study hall, and I have to learn until my hand does it without me thinking of it, because some of it is so difficult.
Yeah.
Bob got very proggy. There's songs that have 7 and 9 parts and they never repeat. And I have to learn that stuff. And this has never happened to me, but I mean, half the time I'm playing new songs, I'm like, I have no idea what's about to happen. And I look down, my hand goes da 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 da. I'm like, last night I was watching a video, one of our videos from playing live came up, and I start playing along, and I swear to God, I'm like, what's the next chord? And my hand goes doom doom doom. Like, oh my God, it's like magic.
Yeah.
But it's just learning that. And it's, you know, 62 songs. We did a show on New Year's Eve that was 100 songs for $100 per person.
That's great. It's only $1 a song.
Yeah. And everybody paid, and it was 4.5 hours of playing.
Amazing.
And it was A lot of, and I thought he'd just come up with a bunch of songs that we've already played. I think we've learned, I think it's 280 songs that we've played live. But it was like 20 or 30 new songs that we never played before or after. It was just a lot of new stuff.
Now, how do you take that kind of muscle memory and carry it back to your own music? Because I mean, like,
I don't, because I don't write that many songs.
Yeah, but I mean, do you
and
ever?
I'm creating those.
Do you ever find it difficult to remember your own material? Are there challenges that you?
No, because my stuff just isn't that tricky, and I don't. The songs that I don't.
What if it's a new song for you, like a recent one?
A recent one is the lyrics that I can't remember.
Right.
You know, and I'm still working on that. Well, also, I have an iPad. I put an iPad on a bar stool.
So you just take advantage of the help that we can get.
And if I put it on the left side,
work for Johnny Cash.
Yeah, he brought his iPad. But if I put it on the left bar stool on the left side, and I have the lyrics right there, people are used to seeing me play,
look at your hand,
and look at my hand, because they're used to seeing me look at my left hand. But I'm cheating. I'm cheating big time and looking at the lyrics. But it makes it so I can do any song anybody requests a lot.
Right. What are some helpful tools as far as something like that goes? Are there apps that will like scroll it up slowly for you so that you get the right lyrics?
Yeah, I can't. Yes, I use something called Band Helper, I think, and I can make it scroll. But there's also a Bluetooth pedal I can get that will scroll for me or flip the page. I can. All the lyrics will fit on one.
Yeah, pages are fine too. Yeah.
Yeah, and but there is a foot switch that can go on my pedal board that I could hold down if I wanted to.
Oh, that's cool.
I have it. I just never. I think I used it once.
Yeah. It's like with stuff like that, it can be helpful, but you don't want to get too complicated with it, right? Because we don't want to make our setups too complex.
I went and saw Chris Robinson play with Phil Lesh and friends, and they all had an iPad in front of them, and they were all but they played 2 hours of different songs every night.
Yeah.
So they'd do an hour sound check where they would make notes, and their notes would show up, and they, and I think they had the foot switch too to flip pages, but I'm not sure.
We started adopting the Nashville numbers charts system for all of our original music that we're writing, and it's just been like a total game changer for us in the studio. As far as getting together with friends, speed. We're so much more efficient. We can do, a heavy hitting weekend would be 10 songs in a weekend, and that's about as fast as we can go. And I stay up all night too. But
you mean preparing charts?
No, just 10. No, I mean, I stay up all night to record 10 songs in a weekend. We don't bang them out like one after another. It's more like we got to figure shit out. We overdub and do vocals and all that kind of stuff. But it's fun, and just having a system where you can like organize yourself, and then just keep yourself from derailing. It's because we spent all this time where it was all head charts. It's like, you remember the third verse, you just do the instead of the and then by the time everybody would know the song, it was like, who would want to record that take?
My father-in-law was he's dead now. He passed. Chip Young was one of the most prolific Nashville studio musicians, and he's a great producer. But he's the thumb picking on Jolene.
Wow.
But he played thousands and thousands of sessions. And what made me a great producer when he was alive was I would hire him as a studio lead. And to watch him, and Brad Jones is this way too, listen to the song once and not even look at the page, writing down the changes. And then as soon as the song over, go, okay, 24, 52, 24, 52, 1, and go through the numbers chart.
Yeah.
And the time it saves is unbelievable.
Yeah.
and how effective that was. And just that those guys, it blows my mind how the mathematics that's going on in their brain and how perfect it comes out.
Yeah, I've been really impressed watching people who can do that really well.
Yeah.
Jen Gunderman would come over. We were doing a thing for a little while years ago where she would come over and teach me how to write a chart. Now, I'm not very good at it. I'm just like okay at it. But
you need to be able to communicate with people who are...
It takes a lot of practice, I think,
Yeah. But the numbers chart is basically, the Nashville number system is music theory for dummies.
Right.
It's do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do.
Yeah.
There is no do. But it's that. It's that easy, and it's that straight ahead, and it's, you're only a capo away.
Yeah.
You're only one capo away from being capable of any session.
If you're changing the key, but even to that point, even if you don't change the key and it's still in the original key, I find it a lot easier to put another guitar part on and change and capo it somewhere else, play different chord shapes.
Totally.
But look at the numbers and know what chords I'm supposed to play. Whereas if I look at the original chords, then I'm like, I don't know what they are.
And I'm in the studio with Brad Jones. I'm using his baritone guitar, which I think is the E string is a B string.
Yeah.
And I know the chords in one position, and Brad can look at me and go, put the capo on the 5th fret and play a C, an F, and an A instead.
Yeah.
And that he can do that math is, I'm never going to be that good.
And it's super fun. I mean, it's super fun to put capos on guitars is what I mean. And move things
Glenn
around,
Campbell got a lot of work in the early days in Los Angeles because he was one of the first guys with a capo. And could sit in on a session with the guitar and,
I guess a capo was a brand new idea at that point.
That's what I've been told.
Another person you work with who was recently on the podcast, Travis Harrison.
Yes.
Serious Business Music in New York. That was a really fun interview. He's making some great records.
I got to see it. I'm sorry I haven't seen it, and I love Travis so much. I got to see it.
But you've had a chance to record with him.
Oh,
there.
yeah, tons.
So talk about your experiences.
His studio is great, and I just recorded with him 3 weeks ago when I was in New York. But most of what I do is sit on the couch with my little recording interface, go into GarageBand. I'm sure he said this, we get Bob's boombox demos. Travis pitch corrects them, puts them on a grid, sends them to us. We can listen to them with the click or without the click and learn Bob's chords. And my job is to learn.
Nice.
My job is to just play what Bob is playing.
Right.
And I might have to ask Doug to help me figure out those voices. Then I just send what comes out of the sound hole on the guitar directly to New York, where Travis reamps it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you haven't necessarily had a chance to be in the studio.
Yes, I've been in the studio too.
Because it's kind of a clever, cool way that he's recording there. Everybody's sort of like jammed in a room together, right?
Yeah. No, we did our first album, August by Cake, that way.
Yeah, and so when when you came down to see my studio and we were listening to some music and talking, we were both talking about how much we appreciate two things. One is putting a band in a room where there's a lot of bleed, like you've crosstalk and you hear the room and all that kind of stuff. And another one is doing sessions where you can do no headphones.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I was talking about the album I did with Brad Jones.
Yeah.
And a bunch of friends where we created the whole album on a computer, did all the overdubs, created exactly what we wanted to do. And
that was the longest
in a rehearsal space where there's no time running, there's no clock running. Then we took that and said, how many people would it take to do this in one day? We arranged those people, booked Ocean Way, which has the nicest gear on earth, for one day, used the computer recordings as just practice tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then practiced for 3 days, went to Ocean Way and went from 11 in the morning to 11 at night and got 11 songs.
Amazing.
And never did. And we went to tape. And
live vocal too?
Yeah. And I think we used almost all the live vocal. We went back to Brad's to mix and do some harmony overdubs. But we would do no more than 4 takes each time. We'd go into the control room. We would listen as they bounced the tape to a hard drive, and then we'd rewind the tape and go.
Oh, that's great. So you still got to use analog and stuff.
Yeah, we were going. We did. Something happened in there at the heaviest song and the loudest part of that heaviest song. All the tracks on the tape machine popped out of record mode.
Oh, now I got to tell a story. You reminded me to tell.
Why would that happen?
Well,
why would all the tracks pop out of record mode at the same time?
Are you recording your own music or other people's music in your studio, but you're having trouble figuring out how to get your mixes to sound great? Do they sound weak and distant or lack punch and clarity? Well, I've got a gift for you to help you take your mixes from sounding like basement demos to sounding a lot more like professional mixes. And it's my free course called Mix Master Bundle. This course will show you how to get pro-sounding mixes from your home studio with free and stock plugins in Pro Tools. And the best part is, these mixing techniques will work for you in any DAW, whether you're in Logic, Cubase, PreSonus Studio One, Reaper, or anything you can think of. Are you ready to make your best record ever? Then go to mixmasterbundle.com to get started for free now, and you can find the clickable link in the show notes of this episode. If the only thing I can imagine is if the record play switch just somehow triggered a little spark or something, that would be the same as it punching out.
Yeah.
So that could happen. But I got a story to tell, which you might remember. Which I don't want to cut your story off. So
that was my story.
All right. Well, you remember when we were back at Alex the Great, when I'm rewinding all the way to the beginning of us working together, and I think it was before the Butte album, and you came in to cut the demos with me at Alex the Great.
Yeah.
And we were recording, so they were essentially your publishing demos or something like that at that point. And you guys were cranking through the songs pretty quickly. Everything was going great. We were recording on tape on Old Fatty, the JH16, the 2-inch 16 track.
Wow.
And it was sounding awesome, And then we took a break to go to lunch. All of us went to lunch. This was at it's before we had food delivered by somebody in their car, drivers delivering it to the studio, and we'd all go out somewhere. And so as we were getting ready to go, I looked over at the tape machine, and it was all the tracks were red and lit up because they were, in record, ready to be recorded on. And I thought, I don't think I just want to leave the tape machine just sitting here. So I'll take the tracks out of record while we go to lunch, and then we'll just continue after lunch. So we did that. So we went to lunch, and we came back and got settled in, did the next song, and we're working on the song after that. So 2 songs after lunch. We're on the second of the songs after lunch. And the guy from the publishing company, everything's going great. We're rocking out. And he says to me, "Hey, should those lights be on the tape?" I was like, "What do you mean? Should the lights be on?" Yeah. And I look over and I was like, that moment where everything just goes, whoosh, you just feel that rush of fight or flight fear.
Here's why I don't remember that is because I always think I can do better. And so I probably didn't think to myself, we'll never capture that again. In my mind, we're only going to keep better. I'm sure we'll redo it. But I see how that's the biggest mess up ever.
That was a big one for me.
That's the worst thing you can do is not record the band.
Yeah, not only just not record the band, but not record all the takes of that song as it went down.
That's
until we moved on to the next one. And so
that's funny.
For the next one, I got it right. It was just the first one.
Well, you were the first person to record Bear Jr. before we got when it was called Bobby Joe and the Metros in Bill Ramsey's basement. You recorded us on the ADAT machines.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever heard myself be recorded, and it was very exciting.
Wow, that was fun, man. That was fun.
And then, but yeah, that was Steve Markland. He was my RA in college. And then I went, and then it's not that my dad is famous and that's how I got record deals and publishing deal. I got a publishing deal my 10th gig and a record deal my 20th gig. Not because I'm a famous kid, but I went to Belmont College in 1984. Everybody I know from those years is currently like the biggest publisher, the biggest booking agent at, CAA or whatever. Like all my buddies that were my roommates and stuff. And this is, I'm almost 30 when I'm looking for a record deal. They're all very well placed. So it's not, it's that my cassette went to the top of the pile. My cassette got serious. It helped that I had one song that sounded like it could be a hit. Yeah. And it was kind of a hit. But I had one song, You Blew Me Off, da-da-da-da. Yeah. So I had one song that sounded like, oh yeah, that can, but it all happened so quickly because all my goofy friends from the cafeteria, Steve was literally the RA on our floor. And, my buddy Darren Murphy helped me with booking agents, with booking gigs. And he's like one of the biggest, or if not the biggest agent in Nashville now. And one of my college buddies was friends with Immortal Records, and that's how my stuff got to Immortal Records. And it was all the goofy guys from when we were 18 together that were just well placed at that time.
Well, it's funny because I went to MTSU before that for the recording program. Yeah. And what I learned about Belmont when I was up in Nashville is, it's almost ironic, but at that point, Belmont had a studio that sort of didn't blow me away. Yeah. Early on, and they were sort of known as but it's a music business school. So what a smart place to be as an aspiring songwriter or an artist, be hanging out with all the, well placed with all the music business kids who are studying that. Whereas I was sort of surrounded by people who wanted it. There was a lot of music business in MTSU too, but it was, a lot of people wanted to be in studios and stuff like that.
Well, most of the people, like Joe Baldridge was one of those people I'm talking about. Yeah. And Joe was out like within the first year or so. I think it was the first year he got to a studio where he became irreplaceable. Yeah. And so he was already placed. He was already where he was studying to be. He was already the guy.
Was that 16th Ave?
No, it was someplace in the tower, whatever that tower is. Oh, yeah. And I think it was mostly advertising. And it's when... What's the Synclavier? Yeah. What's the other one?
The Fairlight, maybe?
Fairlight. It was one of those two. He got to have his hands on it and became irreplaceable kind of immediately. And he's really great at what he does. He's a
super genius. And the reason I say it was ironic that the studio at Belmont wasn't striking to me at that point, because I'd come from MTSU where they just built a big, fancy multi-studio facility. Is because, of course, Belmont has got all the studios now. I mean, it's Ocean Way and the Quonset Hut and what else? I mean, they might have more too. But I
recorded at Ocean Way last summer, and we had students that were part of the co-writing and producing the next Frank Black record from the Pixies. Yeah, they played and. At midnight, he came over to Ocean Way, and we recorded from midnight till 9 a.m. the next morning. And I've never done that. But Joe Baldridge runs Ocean Way now for Belmont.
He's great. He's been on the show a couple of times. It's always fun to have on.
Oh, God, I can only imagine.
Yeah, really great stuff.
But yeah, it was – but I had rehearsed all the songs with all my buddies, all my ringer great musicians, and there's students in there that get to say, I got to work with the Pixies singer last night, and could you imagine? I mean, if I was in college and got to this is something I get to do. It's like, that's inspiring. That's what makes people keep going,
That's why I loved it. Well, dude, it's been so much fun having you on the show. I feel like we could just keep going forever. There's lots of other stuff we haven't even talked about. What about Richie Kirkpatrick, man?
Yes.
You guys just put out a new single.
Yes.
Richie's one of my favorite dudes.
He lived in my house for a while.
I recorded him at Bonnaroo, and I was so blown away by his guitar tones and everything.
His guitar tone. I saw him play a month or so ago, and he runs a stereo rig through the part of a Leslie that is just pure magic.
Yeah,
he's good.
Great sounds.
We've had lots of adventures.
What so you guys did a single. Why? What's the story around that?
I'm a huge Driving and Crying fan, and I do these things. Me and Lou Barlow did it for a couple of times, but where I sing a song, they sing a song swap, and I did it with Kevin Kinney in February, and they are putting together a Driving and Crying Kevin Kinney tribute album, but it's probably 40 people doing, and they gave me the chance to do a song called Driving Down the Soul Road that I
so that's a
loved when I was in college. In college in 87, 88, Driving and Crying was the biggest band in the SEC, basically.
Yeah.
And I still love those shows they're great.
Very cool, man. Very cool. All right. Well, so this question I'm going to ask you is a hypothetical one. I love to ask this of all the guests on the show. We get to take the Wayback Studio machine, and you go back and find young Bobby Bare Jr. Maybe not in 1974 when you'd just be like, wait, what? But you go back and you find a younger version of yourself, and you say, listen, dude, I've come back to give you this one bit of advice. Here's the single most important thing you need to know to be a rock star of the studio yourself one day. What advice would you go back and give yourself if you could?
Write more songs.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, just because that's the gig,
That's going to be my takeaway from this.
And
write
actually,
more songs.
not discipline.
Finish more songs.
Finish more songs. But, and I have no discipline whatsoever, but just create any reason to have 2 hours at least a day.
I love it.
Just figure that, because that's,
It takes a while. It takes
well,
time.
You gotta, and something will squirt out,
And sometimes you need, it's kind of like when I exercise, the exercise might be 30 minutes, but I'm like, but I need like a 2-hour window.
Yeah.
So it's like you might need that time to just get in the zone. So
I would tell myself, start meditating now. Just because my shitty ego is always the asshole in the room. And if I remove that person, that needy asshole, if I remove that person, everything starts flying. Everything starts, all the impediments that, being my own worst enemy, all that shit disappears.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it really does look like, the less I try, to manipulate or anything, the faster this train goes. And on the part of me that's really needs people to approve, if getting rid of that has been the best thing for songwriting ever.
That's awesome, dude.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
The part that's like, if they didn't like it, who would, getting rid of that focus, that has been probably the best part of the meditation stuff, and that whole, just anything to do to get rid of my shitty ego that nobody wants to hang out with. I don't want to win arguments anymore. It's like all these really.
The prize, the prize when you win the argument was kind of sucked, right?
Oh, well, but I won, man. God. I can't let them win. What did I win? Okay, you won the argument with your wife, and she's not gonna. It's the most unsexy thing you can do.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Is win that argument.
The only argument to win with your wife is the one where we both win. We win. I guess. I mean, I'm not. This is coming from the guy who's not married. So
me and Aaron Lee Tashin wrote what I hope is our biggest hit ever, and it's about true love and forgiveness. It's called "Fuck first and fight later. Let's make sweet love out of our anger. Take off your jeans. We might wake up the neighbors while we fuck first and fight later."
Nice, man. I love it.
FUGG though, because this is a kids.
Right.
This is a kids program.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
Yeah, the fugs.
So fugging. Fugging is something you do with someone you love. It's not that other dirty word. It's
right. It's a cousin to the hug, right?
But yes, what you said is when both win.
Yeah. Dude, this is great, man. Thank you so much for doing this. How can the rock stars follow you, find you?
Know
about
my
your next
Instagram,
show,
Bobby Bear
check your music
Jr.
out?
On my Instagram, most of his. I am this week going to put up. I'm trying to create a GoFundMe because I haven't put out a record in 20 years, which is basically it's going to be an Indiegogo, I think, but it's basically pre-selling the vinyl.
Groove.
So I'm able to. I spent 3 weeks in Sweden and Norway, and the guy that runs a place called Lightness, where what are they called? Dancing Queen.
Oh, ABBA.
ABBA recorded a lot of their hits at this studio. The guy that runs it came and said, "Hey, I love your music. You should come record here with us." I'm like, if you can find the money, I'll be here. I'll do it. And
cool.
So
man.
I'm trying to do at least half the record in Stockholm, and to create something called Tennis Swedish Music.
Swedish music.
I'll use some of their musicians and maybe one or two of mine.
You didn't want to go Sweden-y music?
No, not. It's got to be sweet, really sweet music.
Right.
Sweet music. But that's going to be. I guess when this plays, though, it won't be.
Yeah, who knows? It might be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll raise funds and it'll be the fastest fundraiser.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'll be in Sweden and making that money. I mean, making that music.
Sweet.
Yeah, and touring Sweden and Norway and making some money to keep it afloat. But
awesome.
Yeah, that's where to find me.
Right on.
And I have a BobbyBearJr.com and. But mostly my Instagram is and Facebook.
Okay, cool. And then Rockstars, we'll have links to that in the show notes as well, plus a playlist of Bobby's music so you can go check it out, even including Daddy What If with your dad and the one that you redid with your daughter, which is
Bella Bear.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's so striking because it really sounds, it's like you hear the family voices.
Yeah.
The lineage of the voices on the different recordings
too.
It's very cool, man. And thank you for listening, and thank you also for watching. If you're just listening, come on over to YouTube where you can see the video as well. And if you enjoyed it, please like this. And then, Bobby, what questions do you have for the rock? What question do you want to ask the rock stars that they could answer in the comments if they wanted? What's the first thought that comes to mind? Maybe it's about songwriting.
What are you listening to now, and why does it excite you?
That's a good question.
Because it's the part that excites you that matters. That's the part that's, exciting.
Yeah. And hey, it's YouTube. So if you've got a link to another video or the music on YouTube, you can put that in the comments too.
I'm listening to a band called Sharp Pins from Chicago.
Cool.
I think they're the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I heard it. It was really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And hit that like button so that other people get to watch this and hear these great songwriting tips from Bobby. And subscribe so that you get more of these. Dude, thanks for hanging with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's go get some lunch.
Cheers. I'll eat it.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Recording Studio Rockstars. If you enjoyed the show and want to help make it better, then please share this episode with your friends on social media and leave a rating and review on iTunes to help the podcast reach more rock stars like yourself. You can click directly over to iTunes or go to rsrockstars.com/review for an easy explanation. And remember to hit the subscribe button to keep up with weekly episodes. And if you're ready to make your best record ever now, then head over to Recording Studio Rockstars Academy, where you can start with my free course at mixmasterbundle.com. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks for being a rock star. I'm Lyd Shaw, and this is Recording Studio Rockstars. Now, go make great music. Recording Studio Rockstars would like to give a big thank you to our fantastic sponsors who make this episode possible. Isotope, Native Instruments, SAE Institute, Spectra 1964, Grace Design, and Picker. Check out the Spectra 1964 website for factory direct budget-saving prices on the STX 600, 100, 100D, and BBDI Direct Box. Check out my studio profile on the Picker app on iPhone or Android, and remember to take advantage of our special coupon code ROCK10 for 10% off any plugin purchase at isotope.com or nativeinstruments.com. And don't forget, you can start mixing right now with my free course at mixmasterbundle.com. If you enjoyed Recording Studio Rockstars, please check out our sponsors using the links in the show notes below. These are all things I highly recommend for your studio. They're going to help you make your best record ever. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because it's a great way to help support this show. And I'd also like to thank our fantastic team here at Recording Studio Rockstars, Vlad Weselchenko and Daria Tupesis. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.